here to further discuss the ongoing issues at the southern border, we have Lieutenant Christopher Olivarez of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Lieutenant, always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You recently posted images on Twitter. I'm on your account right now. I'm looking at them as we speak of the challenges that you face when protecting your southern border. And good night. I mean, what is the hardest part about being on the front lines at the southern border?
Well, I mean, the difficult challenge is trying to cover, all the exposed gaps along the border. Of course, it's very difficult when you're trying to apprehend individuals that are trying to come across, which would be known as gotaways if we weren't there trying to apprehend those. Also working with Border Patrol because they're shorthanded, but also trying to apprehend the drugs that are coming across. And that's why it's important to have technology such as sensors and surveillance cameras. And that's what you see in those images is an image from one of our surveillance cameras. But of course, having the manpower to be able to go after these individuals and apprehend the drugs is the challenge. That's where the challenge lies. And sometimes these drugs do get away. And of course, we know that many drugs get away, not only between the ports of entry, but also through the ports of entry, because the Mexican drug cartels are very sophisticated and they're well aware of the risk and loss as far as drugs that they may lose on the way further into the interior. And that's what makes them so powerful.
Yeah, the cartels certainly have a terrifying reach. Speaking of fentanyl, according to CDC data, fentanyl is the #1 cause of overdose deaths in the United States. What do people on the ground like yourself need from Congress to contain the fentanyl crisis from getting even worse than what it already is?
Well, I mean, the first step that I've always said is you need to put more pressure on the Mexican government and also designate the cartels as terrorist organizations at the federal level. Governor Greg Abbott did it last year at the state level. And we're using every tool and resource and everything within our authority in the state of Texas to go after these organizations. We've made numerous arrests on criminal gang members, cartel members. We have seized over 365 million lethal doses of fentanyl statewide. But of course, more needs to be done. And of course, you see all the significant seizures at the ports of entry, especially in Arizona. And all that means is that these cartels are mass producing more fentanyl that's coming across our borders that we are not catching. So we need some more pressure on the Mexican government and actually to go after these cartels. And one thing, too, that we're starting to see, some of these pharmacies in Mexico are selling pharmaceuticals that are tainted with fentanyl. And of course, we have many Americans that go into Mexico to buy these prescription, well, not, I wouldn't even say prescription pills, but buy these pharmaceuticals because, for one, they don't have health insurance, they don't have the money. And a lot of these drugs, which could be, Percocet, Adderall, Xanax, are tainted with fentanyl. We had a recent loss last year where a family lost their high school son because he went into Mexico and bought some pills that were tainted with fentanyl and ultimately lost his life. So that's another exposed danger there, is avoiding to go into these pharmacies in Mexico to buy these tainted pills.
Yeah, just unbelievably tragic. Republican lawmakers were recently upset with Mexico's president after he denied his country's role in our ongoing fentanyl crisis. He blamed the crisis on, quote, social decay in American society. He also said that Mexico was safer than the United States. What's your reaction to those words?
Oh, those are completely false statements. We know that Mexico is more dangerous than the United States. Their murder rate is 4 times higher than the United States. We know for a fact that fentanyl is coming and is being mass produced in Mexico because the chemical precursors are being imported from China into Mexico to supply the Mexican drug cartels, and they're able to mass produce fentanyl at levels that we have never seen before. And of course, many Americans do not know what they're ingesting. They do not know if their pills that they're taking are tainted with fentanyl. They may think they're taking an Adderall or a Xanax or a Percocet, and by the time you know it's too late. They lose their lives because they're not aware that these pills are tainted with fentanyl or any other type of illicit drug. So this is all in the hands of the Mexican drug cartels, and these drugs are coming from Mexico.
Yeah, and I think, what is it, the tip of a pencil, that kind of amount of fentanyl is a lethal dose, enough to kill you.
2 milligrams.
Yeah, just to crunch some numbers here, according to CBP data, 38 people were apprehended from their terrorist watch list at the southwest border. Meanwhile, 176 were apprehended at the northern border. Are officials receiving the aid or even the personnel to deal with dangerous people crossing into the U.S. compared to the northern border?
Well, I mean, U.S. Border Patrol, they just don't have enough manpower to cover those areas. That's why, right now we're at, 1.4 million known gotaways. That really tells you right there's not sufficient manpower to cover all those areas, all those exposed gaps along the border, because again, they're tied up processing or doing administrative duties. So that's why it's very important that we need to have some effective policies in place to stem the flow of mass migration so that Border Patrol can get back on the front lines and apprehend these individuals that are coming across. It's very shocking to to know that we have that many people as far as on the suspected terror watch list coming across our borders. And that's only what's been apprehended and vetted. Of course, 1.4 million known dataways. Who knows how many more of those suspected terrorists were part of those groups or criminal gang members or even cartel members that are now in the interior of this country.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.